That looked good, actually. You got it.
You just catch it in that power? That's okay, just catch it in that power and then you know what to do.
Hey, much better.
Ah, oh my gosh. I like that. That's so bad.
Hey, that was your best one.
Nice.
I almost lost it back. What's up, guys? So we're here at Balance Point CrossFit. We just finished doing a weightlifting clinic with the great, amazing Anthony Pomponio. Anthony, could you just give us a little bit of backstory, maybe some of your biggest achievements in weightlifting up to this point?
Totally, man. So I'm Anthony Pomponio. Thanks for having me here. My nickname is Pomp, so sometimes if you call me Anthony, I usually don't turn around. So Pomp's my nickname in the weightlifting community and also just life in general. So I started weightlifting when I was, this year it's been about almost a little longer than 10 years now, close to 11 years. 2010 started. Fell in love ever since, honestly. It was one of those things. I was a football player in college. I went to Whittier College, played football over there. Went a year overseas, played over there in Switzerland. Came back to the States. Was doing bodybuilding, was pretty successful as a bodybuilder for a while there. I was featured in a lot of big time publications, won a lot of competitions. But it came to the point where it was either like, hey man, you have to basically take that next step in bodybuilding, meaning like get on a bunch of drugs and weigh 250, 300 pounds, or find a new sport, you know. I was kind of done with football. I came out healthy. I was planning on possibly doing some Canadian tryouts, which I had lined up. But then I was introduced to my first coach, Nick Frasca, out in the desert. My older brother introduced me to him and said, hey dude, you have to meet this guy. You would probably like to do this weightlifting thing. I'm like, I'll try it, you know, because at the time I was still trying, I was in a confusing stage. I was still trying to maybe play football. I was training for football. I was doing a lot of running stuff still, field agility stuff. And I was also doing bodybuilding stuff because I was under contract with a big supplement company, Muscle Tech at the time, that I had to compete once a year. So I had a competition planned for December. So it was really an interesting phase of my life. I was like, okay, which direction am I gonna go? I had 3 different avenues. And I started weightlifting. I'm like, you know what, this is awesome. I get to lift weights, which I love to do. I get to compete, which I love to do. And it's a drug tested sport, so I could stay as a clean athlete, you know? So that was a big reason why as well. So I started weightlifting, and basically I did my competition in December for bodybuilding. I was very successful. It's probably my best meet to date. I got a lot of PR because of it. But in the end, I was like, you know what, this is it. That was my last competition. I won it. I think I came in like 2nd in the overall. I won my division. It was a huge meet at times, like 400 competitors total. It was out in LA. It's called Excalibur. They still have it every year too.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
You win a sword if you win the overall, but I just won my class, not the overall. So if I would have the sword, that would have been cool. But some gigantic dude won, and now he's a successful pro. So it was a stiff competition. So I called it quits after that. Started just 100% dedicating my time to weightlifting. And it's funny because people think, oh, weightlifting doesn't build muscle. Well, I was already pretty built from doing all the bodybuilding stuff that I actually didn't do any like isolation work leading from September, October, November, 3 months prior to my last bodybuilding show. Nothing. And all I did was weightlifting stuff. So lots of pulling, lots of explosive, jerks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually looked physically my best, peak shape, everything was great. So just because you're not pumping the muscle up doesn't mean you're not building muscle.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of weightlifters that look really good as well.
Yep, same.
So, and bodybuilding's a different sport. It's aesthetic based, so you don't have to be athletic. You see a lot of bodybuilders, they kind of like, honestly, they mope around the gym because they're always tired from carb cuts, and then they have energy, and then they're down. So it's a lot of up and down, whereas weightlifting's more stable.
Yeah.
So basically, I was training weightlifting. This is now December 2010. I had my first weightlifting competition in January. I believe it is January 16th. I might honestly show up my feed any day now on this day on Facebook. So I had a Canadian football tryout planned for that day. I can't even remember what team it was, but it was in Orange County. They were coming down for a couple of guys, and I was one of them. Anyway, I decided to go the weightlifting route. It was like that moment there. I was like, you know what? I'm going the weightlifting route. So from that day on, I haven't looked back. I've had some good success weightlifting. I was invited to be a resident at the Olympic Training Center, so I went out there for 2 years from 2014 to the 2016 Olympics. Unfortunately, I failed to make an Olympic team. We only qualified one male athlete at the time, so I wasn't one of the males. But in my process of getting there, I won multiple national competitions, two American Opens, I can't even remember now, one national championship, came second at nationals 1 year, so I had a good weightlifting resume. And so I represented USA on the national stage, international stage a couple times, and had some success there. So it's been a great journey. I love teaching people. Now I'm transitioning into more of the coaching side of it, although I still do compete and have fun competing. But you only have such a short window, and I was already kind of old getting into the sport, and I'll be 33 this year. So it's not like I could compete at the highest level possible for so much longer. My body is football, bodybuilding, weightlifting, so it's taken a toll, and honestly I feel it every day, but I wouldn't change a thing, and weightlifting's a great sport. I wish I would have started when I was 10, wish I could go back and start, but unfortunately it wasn't there for us,
Yeah.
And nowadays with CrossFit gyms and all the other gyms, commercial gyms, walking at 24, there's platforms, CrossFit gyms, there's better instruction, so it's just so much more out there now, and kids are going to benefit from that so much. And even this Olympics coming up, we have kids that start so much younger that are probably going to medal at the Olympics, which happened last Olympics with Sarah Robles in the super heavies for females. But besides that,
Catherine Nye,
she's freaking strong. A lot of those kids that were 16 years old when they started lifting back in 2016 or even before that are now at the age where they could really peak for the Olympics. So It's awesome.
So I know like a lot of as a CrossFitter, a lot of people come in and we start teaching them snatches and clean and jerks, and it's hard, and there's super complicated lifts, and people get very discouraged. And I try to explain to them, this is something that people train to go to the Olympics for. These 2 lifts, they spend all day training to perfect these 2 lifts. Try to help them not get discouraged. Can you kind of like go into a little bit like how much training do you guys actually have to do?
Oh man, a lot. If you could pick the barbell up and snatch 300 pounds on your first day, I don't know if that's even possible for one, okay? So it's so much, but the crazy thing is, it's like, there's 2 ways of going about it, okay? When I work with people, it's either like you're really strong and you need to learn the movement, or you're really weak and you can move pretty well. That's why
it's like me.
That's the beauty of starting young, because you get a kid that isn't super strong, that is very mobile. So I'd rather have the mobile athlete than the strong athlete, and try to balance that out, So, but back to what you were saying, we train a lot. I mean, at my peak when I was the best I was, we were training 10 times a week. Well, 9 actual sessions a week, and then warm-ups, like morning warm-ups, and then it's a full-time job basically. We're talking 6 times, 40 plus hours a week, no question about it. And 1 day off, Sunday's always off. So we put a lot of time in to perfect the movement. And just because someone doesn't get it the first day, it's like, these are the most complex movements. Like, when you're a baby, you learn how to crawl first, right? Then you learn how to stand up. Then you learn how to take a step, and then maybe walk, fall a couple times. a couple hundred times, and then you learn how to kind of get going on a full walk, and then you learn how to kind of jog and now run. So it's like those steps that you take as a baby, the same steps you have to take as a weightlifter learning the lifts, because it's completely new. Like you've never done it before, you know? You could watch all you want. A baby can see another baby walk. He's not gonna start walking, you know? It's just when you're physically ready to do it, it's the steps that it takes to get there.
Yeah. So you kind of have actually an interesting story, because a lot of people that, you know, CrossFit has kind of blown up weightlifting in a sense, because now everyone's, you know, has access to somewhere to do Olympic weightlifting, but you didn't do CrossFit at all, right? So so you found it through, maybe your first time doing these lifts was just in football and stuff. So how did you actually, like, what was like your first like introduction to weightlifting as a sport?
So I did some like power cleaning in college. I wouldn't call it much of a power clean. It was, we watched
I know football power cleans.
Just picture a football power clean, but picture just a really strong guy doing it. So that was me. But I did dabble a little bit with some CrossFit football stuff before I went to Europe and played, just because I was like, you know what, this looks kind of cool. It's like you do a lot of cardio and you run and you're doing some power stuff, like some deadlifts and some bench and stuff. But that was only for a short period of time. That program doesn't really have any clean jerks or snatches in it. So I came back, and basically the only way to get introduced, even in 2010, was basically just like I'm gonna call it like a garage gym kind of feel, you know, just a dude that's known for doing some crazy movements, you know. It's like, hey, this guy, I think does like Olympic weightlifting stuff. So my first coach was introduced to it from his first coach back in college, who's a legendary strength coach. His name is Bill Starr. He's wrote many books. So I kind of come from that lineage as far as like learning just about the sport in general, you know. But back in the day, I mean, it wasn't known. I know like in the early 70s and 80s, it was on what's called Wide World of Sports. There's a sports channel that we used to get here in the US when the Olympics were on, and everyone knows as a weightlifter, me, a big fat guy, a big guy, because the guy at the time was Alexiev, and he was a massive dude that's just the strongest guy in the world. Well, anyway, I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, it kind of just went underground, and it became more of an underground sport. And because of CrossFit, it's exposed, like, open the doors kind of thing. You know, it's like every CrossFit gym, and on every corner you get bumper plates. You know, it's like when you're traveling, you could work out anytime you want. You know, it's just cool to see and be part of the boom, basically.
Hey Ash, is the camera still on? Just make. Okay. So do you have any like competitions that you're planning on? I know you're like kind of nursing a hamstring injury, but do you have any like competitions or future plans or anything like that?
Man, you know, that's a good question. I do want to compete again. I'm going to compete again. I always tell people, like, people say, oh, I had a bad week. I'm like, try having a bad like 3 years competing. Like every single time I get going, it's just boom, something knocks me down. Every time I get going, boom, something knocks me down. So I'm still on the mend. I'll make a comeback sooner or later. And my goal is just to be competitive again and medal at some meets. And but I just want to mainly do it to show people, like, this is a sport you can have longevity in. Okay? Just because you're not PRing every day doesn't mean that you can't go in, have fun with your friends, and do it. You know, and I want my son to do it. Like, that's another reason why I'm doing it, is because it's like, it's such a great foundation to have. You know, I want to show him, like, hey, look at Dad's been doing this forever. You can do it too. You know.
Yep. So what's your training program? Like, what if people wanted to do like what you're doing or be coached by you? What do they do?
As far as like contact info,
or like if you could just give like the name of your training program.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I'm part of Juggernaut. So you could either enroll on the website or contact me directly. I do anything varying, because my background is in bodybuilding, weightlifting, football type of training. So basically anything. Most of my clientele is weightlifting training as of right now, but I do some general fitness stuff, just for the average dude, you know, that just wants to go to the gym and throw out, basically, you know. So yeah, contact me directly through Instagram, Pomponio.
And I'll have a link. I'll have his Instagram name down in the bio, and I'll also put a link to Juggernaut training also, so that it's easy to access.
And then also my email as well. I'll give you that too.
Cool.
So yeah, any questions, hit me up. I'm always open. I answer every question. I don't let any questions go unanswered, because no one's better than anyone. We're all here for the same reason, to get better. Yep. So whether it's a 1,000-word question or a one sentence, I'll answer it.
Yep, totally agree. So now we're gonna finish up with our lightning round. These are just quick one-offs. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
All right. Favorite movie?
Varsity Blues.
Least favorite movie in the last decade.
Oh man.
Because now we're in 2020.
Oh, Mamma Mia. I walked
That's
out.
our favorite movie.
Is it? I walked out. Sorry.
Not a musical man.
I like Pierce Bronson, but damn, I like him as 007 better.
True, yeah. Favorite food?
Pasta. I'm Italian.
Okay. Our most controversial question. Pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
You know, I'm Italian. I say pineapple because it's freaking good.
Boom. I like this guy. Okay, beer or wine?
Oh, beer. But I have been drinking wine recently. But if you follow me, you know I'm a huge beer connoisseur. Me and my wife have been over 250 plus breweries in the U.S. So everywhere we go, that's our thing. We go to the brewery there.
Nice.
But I do like some wine. Don't get me wrong.
All right. I don't know what I usually know what the answer is for this one for most people, but I don't know about you. Bench or squat?
Oh man, you asked me 10 years ago, bench all day. And I'm probably stronger at bench as we speak, even though I don't bench anymore, but I'm gonna have to say squat. Because honestly, squat is the king of all lifts.
Yep, definitely. Early mornings or late nights?
As of now, early mornings, but when I was younger, late nights. But you have a kid, 2-year-old, your mornings get really early and you get used to it.
Working out with people or by yourself?
With people 100%, but as of recently, I had to get used to working out alone, so you just have to motivate yourself, you know, but I'm a people person and I like people, so.
Would you rather explore or relax?
Explore, for sure. I'm never stopping. My wife wants to kill me.
Okay, this is usually exercise shoe, but what's your go-to lifter?
Nike Romeo.
Which one?
I'm wearing the 3s right now. My favorite of all time is probably the 2s, but I was product testing for the 3s and I'm product testing for the 4s as well.
Oh yeah?
And they're gonna be nice.
Okay. I knew the 4s were coming out soon.
Hold on for if you're gonna buy new shoes.
You mean I always buy new shoes, so if anyone knows me, they know I have a shoe problem. Okay, and then I think we already went over the last question, which was just where people can follow you. So
Yeah.
That was it. So thank you,
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Anthony.
That was fun.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
He killed our seminar today. It was awesome. We learned a lot. So there'll be video all throughout this if anyone wants to check that out. And like I said, links down in the bio. Thumbs up if you guys found value out of this video. And thank you again.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Okay.